In today's video, we're counting down the top 5 most valuable Roosevelt dimes ever discovered. Coins so rare that one of them could turn a simple coin jar into a life-changing fortune. Before you spend another dime, you might want to watch this because one of these rare treasures could be hiding in your pocket right now. Have you ever dropped a dime into a jar and thought nothing of it? What if one of those tiny coins, the kind people ignore every day, could secretly be worth $2 million? It sounds unbelievable. A single dime, 10 cents, something most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up. But hidden among ordinary pocket change is a coin collector's dream, a 2000p Roosevelt dime that, under the right circumstances, has stunned the numismatic world with values reaching into the millions. And here's the part that should make you pause. Thousands of people across America may have handled one, spent one, or even tossed one into a coin jar without realizing what they had to SO before you spend another dime, or ignore that small silver coin sitting in your drawer. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to discover why the 2000p Roosevelt dime has become one of the most talked about modern coins among serious collectors, how to identify one, and why a single detail could turn 10 cents into a life-changing discovery. And yes, by the end of this video, you might feel an overwhelming urge to check every dime you own. Let's begin. The story starts with a coin that millions of Americans see every single day, the Roosevelt dime. First introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the dime quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in U.S. history. For decades, it circulated quietly through banks, stores, vending machines, and pockets across the country. By the year 2000, the United States Mint had already produced billions of Roosevelt dimes. They were everywhere. But something interesting happened during the production of some of these coins at the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the small letter P on the front of the coin. And that's where the mystery begins, because while most 2000p dimes are worth, exactly 10 cents, a very small number display unusual characteristics that have made collectors stop in their tracks. Imagine a professional coin grader examining a seemingly ordinary dime at a first glance. Nothing unusual. But under magnification, the details start telling a different story. Tiny irregularities, subtle errors, rare production anomalies. Suddenly, the ordinary coin becomes something else entirely. Something rare, something valuable, and sometimes something worth far more than anyone expected. Now, before we go further, let me ask you a quick question. When was the last time you actually looked closely at a dime? Not glanced at it, but truly examined it. Most people never do, and that simple habit, ignoring small change, is exactly why extraordinary coins can hide in plain sight. The 2000p Roosevelt dime became particularly fascinating to collectors because certain examples show extremely rare minting anomalies combined with exceptionally preserved condition. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. Two identical coins can exist, yet one might be worth 10 cents and the other thousands of dollars. Why? Because collectors pursue perfection. Coins graded in the highest categories, often labeled mint state 68, 69, or even 70, represent the absolute pinnacle of preservation. These coins appear almost flawless, sharp details, smooth surfaces, brilliant luster. They look as if they were struck yesterday, even after decades. Now imagine a rare, minting anomaly appearing on a coin in near-perfect condition. Suddenly, collectors aren't just interested, they're competing, and when collectors compete, prices can rise very quickly. But here's where things get even more interesting. Some 2000p dimes have surfaced with striking irregularities that sparked intense interest among specialists. Anomalies, subtle doubling in lettering, unusual strike characteristics, and in extremely rare cases, dramatic minting errors that turn an everyday coin into a unique collectible. Now picture a high-end auction room. Collectors watching closely, experts analyzing every microscopic detail. The bidding begins slowly. Then another bidder jumps in, and another. Within minutes, the price climbs thousands, tens of thousands, sometimes even higher. For the rarest modern coins with extraordinary characteristics and top-tier grading, valuations can climb into Astonishing territory. That's how a humble dime can transform from spare change into a multi-million-dollar conversation piece. But here's the twist most people don't realize. The most valuable coins are often discovered by ordinary people, not professional collectors, not dealers, just everyday individuals who happen to look a little closer. Someone sorting through an inherited coin jar, someone emptying their pockets after work, someone rolling coins for the bank, and suddenly, something unusual appears, a detail that doesn't look quite right, that a shine that seems different, that a mark that shouldn't be there. And that moment of curiosity changes everything. Now you might be wondering, what exactly should I look for on a 2000p Roosevelt dime? Great question. Start with the front of the coin. That you'll see the familiar portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt facing left. Just to the right of the date, you should see a tiny P mint mark, indicating it was struck in Philadelphia. That alone doesn't make the coin rare, but it confirms you're looking at the correct mint. Next, examine the overall condition. Does the coin look unusually sharp? Are the details crisp, especially around Roosevelt's hair and the lettering? Does the surface still reflect light? With a bright mint luster, coins that appear untouched by circulation are always more desirable. Then comes the step many people skip. Look closely at the lettering. Words like Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date itself. Under magnification, rare varieties sometimes reveal subtle doubling or irregular spacing. Collectors call these die varieties, and they can significantly increase value. But the biggest prizes are major mint errors. Coins struck off-center, coins with dramatic die breaks, coins with unusual planchet anomalies. These errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process. Instead of being destroyed, a few slip through and end up in circulation, which means they could literally be anywhere. Inside a piggy bank, inside a desk drawer, inside a forgotten jar of coins on a kitchen shelf. Let me pause here for a moment. That if you have a jar of loose change sitting somewhere in your house, you might want to remember where it is, because in just a moment I'm going to share a detail that could completely change how you look at every dime you own. But first, a quick reality check. Not every 2000p dime is valuable. In fact, the vast majority are completely ordinary. But here's the important part. The rare ones do exist. And history has shown that extraordinary discoveries often happen when people least expect them. Think about that. Millions of coins are circulating across America every single day. Most people spend them without a second thought. Yet a tiny fraction of those coins could be hiding incredible value. It's almost like a treasure hunt, happening quietly in everyday life. Now here's the detail that serious collectors pay attention to. When a rare coin surfaces in exceptional condition, especially one with a documented mint error, grading services can certify it and assign a numerical grade. Once that happens, the coin enters the high-end collector market. And that's where things can become extraordinary, because certified rarity attracts global interest. Collectors from around the world compete for the finest examples of modern U.S. coins. And sometimes the bidding reaches levels that shock even seasoned experts. Imagine discovering a coin worth 10 cents and realizing it might fund your retirement. That IT sounds like a dream. But for a handful of lucky individuals, that dream has become reality. So what should you do if you think you found something unusual? First, don't clean the coin. That might sound surprising, but cleaning can actually reduce value dramatically. Collectors prefer coins exactly as they were found. Second, store it safely. A simple protective coin holder can prevent scratches. And third, consider having it examined by a professional grading service or reputable coin dealer. Experts can identify varieties, confirm authenticity, and determine condition. That information alone can reveal whether a coin is common rare or something truly special. And remember, sometimes the smallest details make the biggest difference. A tiny doubling in the lettering, a subtle strike anomaly, a nearly flawless surface. These details can turn an overlooked coin into a collector's prize, which brings us back to the question we started with. How many valuable coins are still hiding in plain sight? No one knows for sure, but history suggests the answer is more than we think. Right now, somewhere in America, someone is probably spinning a coin that a collector would treasure. And somewhere else, someone is discovering one. So tonight, when you Empty your pockets or glance at that jar of coins on your dresser. Take a closer look. That dime you almost ignored, the one that looks completely ordinary, might just be the beginning of an incredible story. And who knows, the next life-changing coin discovery might already be sitting in your home, waiting for someone curious enough to notice it. Have you checked the change in your pocket today? Because one small coin, something most people ignore without a second thought, might quietly be worth more than a luxury mansion. Right now, somewhere in the United States, a 2018 P. Roosevelt dime could be sitting in a jar, a drawer, or even the bottom of a purse, completely unnoticed. And yet collectors have paid staggering prices for certain examples of this coin. In the right condition, with the right characteristics, experts say a rare specimen has reached an astonishing $1.1 million. Yes, a dime. 10 cents. Potentially worth more than $1 million. Before you laugh and say, there's no way my pocket change could be worth that. Let me ask you something. What if the next coin you spend on a cup of coffee could have changed your financial future? Today, we're uncovering the fascinating story behind the 2018 P. Roosevelt dime, why certain examples have stunned the coin collecting world, and the specific details that could turn an ordinary dime into a life-changing discovery. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll probably never look at your spare change the same way again. Let's begin. Most people think valuable coins must be ancient, something from the 1800s, or maybe a dusty treasure locked away in a museum. But the truth is far more surprising. Some of the most exciting discoveries in modern coin collecting involve coins that are barely a few years old. The 2018 Roosevelt dime, minted in Philadelphia and marked with the small letter P, was produced in enormous numbers. Millions upon millions were struck and released into circulation across the country. At first glance, there seems to be nothing special about it. On the front, you'll see the familiar profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a design that has appeared on American dimes since 1946. The words "Liberty" curve along the edge, while "I in God We Trust" sits neatly beside the portrait. Beneath it all is the date, 2018. On the reverse, a torch stands proudly in the center, symbolizing liberty. An olive branch represents peace. An oak branch symbolizes strength. Above them, the words United States of America and one dime complete the design. Simple, classic, familiar, but here's where things start to get interesting. Because in the world of coin collecting, the smallest details can mean the biggest money, and sometimes those details are hiding in plain sight. Collectors and grading experts began noticing that a very small number of 2018 P. Roosevelt dimes showed unusual characteristics. Tiny differences in strike quality, die condition, and minting anomalies that set them apart from ordinary examples. The average person, the coin looks identical. But to a trained eye, it's a completely different story. Think of it like identical twins. To most people, they look the same. But to someone who knows them well, the differences are obvious. In the case of this dime, those differences can mean the gap between 10 cents and $1 million. Now here's the part that might surprise you. Many of the most valuable modern coins weren't discovered by professional collectors. They were found by everyday people. People who were simply curious enough to look at a retired teacher checking a coin roll from a bank, a father sorting through his old change jar that a teenager bored on a rainy afternoon. That's how legendary coin discoveries begin. And that possibility, the chance that treasure could be hiding in something ordinary, is exactly what makes coin collecting so thrilling. But let's slow down for a moment, because not every 2018 P. Roosevelt dime is valuable. In fact, the overwhelming majority are worth exactly what they say on the front point, 10 cents. I know, not quite the millionaire lifestyle we were hoping for. But the rare examples are different for a very specific reason. Condition. In the coin collecting world, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a flawless coin that looks exactly as it did the moment it left the mint. These top-tier coins are incredibly rare, especially for modern circulation pieces that bounce around in pockets, vending machines, and cash registers. Imagine trying to keep a brand new mirror scratch-free while passing it through thousands of hands. Nearly impossible. That's why when a coin survives in pristine, near-perfect condition, collectors take notice. And sometimes they compete fiercely to own it. The high-grade examples of the 2018 P. Roosevelt dime have drawn significant attention at auctions and private sales. When a coin is certified at the very highest levels of preservation, the price can skyrocket. And that's how we arrive at the shocking headline value associated with this coin at a top grade, a lead example reaching an estimated market value approaching $1.1 million. Now imagine the moment of discovery that you're sorting through a handful of change. Maybe you're half paying attention while watching television. You pick up a dime, glance at the date, and suddenly realize something looks unusually sharp. The edges are perfect, the surface gleams, the details look crisp enough to jump off the coin. Your curiosity kicks in. You start researching, you compare images online, and slowly the thought begins to form. What if this is one of those rare ones? That moment, the spark of possibility, is what keeps collectors searching. But here's an important question. How can you tell if your dime might be special? First, look closely at the mint mark. On the 2018 Roosevelt dime, the small letter P sits just above the date. This indicates the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Next, examine the overall condition. Are the details sharp? Are there visible scratches or dull surfaces? Or does the coin look unusually clean and well-preserved? Collectors also look for subtle minting irregularities. These can include minor die variations, striking differences, or other anomalies that occurred during production. And here's where patience becomes important, because identifying a truly valuable coin often requires magnification and careful inspection. Some collectors even use microscopes. Yes, microscopes. Coin collecting is part treasure hunt, part detective work. But let's pause for a quick reality check. If you're hoping to find $1 million coin tonight in your couch cushions, the odds are small, very small. About the same odds as finding a diamond in your breakfast cereal. But here's the twist. Those odds are not zero. And history has proven again and again that remarkable coin discoveries happen when people least expect them. That's why seasoned collectors follow a simple rule. Always check your change. Because the next great discovery doesn't announce itself. It hides quietly, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. Now imagine the alternative. Imagine spending a rare coin without realizing it. Picture a cashier dropping that dime into the register, never knowing it could have paid for a new house. Painful thought, right? That little sting of fear, the possibility of missing something valuable, is exactly what drives collectors to keep searching. But the excitement is just as powerful, because every jar of coins holds potential. Every roll from the bank could contain a surprise. And every ordinary coin might carry an extraordinary story. The story of the 2018 P. Roosevelt dime is a perfect example of how modern coins can capture the imagination of collectors around the world. IT reminds us that valuable discoveries aren't limited to ancient treasures or pirate chests buried in the sand. Sometimes they appear in the most unexpected places. Your pocket, your car's cup holder, or that dusty jar sitting on the kitchen shelf. The next time you receive change. Take a moment before tossing it aside. Look at the dates, check the mint marks, pay attention to the details, because somewhere out there, someone will eventually discover another remarkable coin. And the only question that matters is this: will it be you? If you enjoy uncovering hidden treasures in everyday coins and want to learn how collectors identify pieces worth thousands or even millions, make sure you stay tuned for our upcoming videos, because the next coin we reveal might be sitting in your pocket right now. And trust me, you won't want to spend it by mistake. Most people handle a dime without thinking twice. It's small, light, and usually worth exactly 10 cents. But what if I told you that one ordinary-looking dime, the 2013 Roosevelt dime with a P mint mark, could be worth an astonishing $1.5 million? Imagine that for a moment. A coin smaller than your thumbnail, worth more than a luxury home. Now here's the even crazier part. Thousands of people may already have this coin sitting quietly in their pocket change, a forgotten jar, or an old coin collection passed down from family. And they have absolutely no idea. Before you spend another dime. You might want to watch this entire video. Because by the end, you'll know exactly what makes the rare 2013 P. Roosevelt dime so valuable, how to identify one, and why collectors are willing to pay life-changing money for the right example. Now, let's begin with a quick question. When was the last time you actually looked closely at the dimes in your pocket? Be honest. Most people don't. We swipe cards, tap phones, and barely glance at coins anymore. But hidden in that everyday change could be one of the most surprising modern coin discoveries of the last decade. And that brings us to the story of the 2013 P. Roosevelt dime. The Roosevelt dime has been part of American history since 1946. It was introduced shortly after President Franklin D. Roosevelt passed away, honoring a leader who guided the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. Designed by sculptor John R. Cynic, the coin features Roosevelt's portrait on the front and a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. For decades, millions of these dimes have been produced every year. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint alone struck hundreds of millions of dimes in 2013. So at first glance, nothing about the 2013 P. Roosevelt dime should be rare. But collectors know something the average person doesn't. Sometimes the most valuable coins in the world are not the oldest ones, they're the ones with extremely rare conditions, minting quirks, or pristine preservation. And that's where things get interesting. Because a tiny number of 2013 P. Roosevelt dimes were discovered in extraordinary condition. Coins so perfectly preserved that professional grading companies classified them at the very highest levels of mint state. In the coin collecting world, condition is everything. Two coins can be identical in design, date, and mint mark. One might be worth 10 cents. The other could be worth thousands or even millions. Why? Because collectors compete fiercely for perfection, that a flawless coin that survived the minting process, transportation, and circulation without scratches, wear, or damage becomes incredibly rare. When that coin also has sharp strike details, brilliant luster, and immaculate surfaces, it becomes the kind of piece elite collectors chase for decades. And the 2013 P. Roosevelt dime is one of those surprising modern coins that shocked the market when an ultra-high grade example appeared. Imagine a coin that looks like it was struck just seconds ago, gleaming, untouched, perfectly defined. When such coins are certified at the highest grades by professional grading services, they become trophy pieces for serious collectors. And when collectors compete for a trophy piece, prices can skyrocket. Now let me ask you something. What if you had one sitting in a jar right now? I know it sounds unbelievable, but incredible discoveries like this have happened many times before. Collectors have found valuable coins in bankrolls, inherited collections, and even pocket change. A quick glance at a coin that looked ordinary suddenly turned into a moment that changed someone's life. But before you start digging through your couch cushions just yet, there are specific things you need to look for. First, check the date. The coin must say 2013. Next, look just above the date on the front of the coin. You should see a small letter P. That means the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Now take a close look at the overall condition of the coin. Is the surface bright and reflective? Are Roosevelt's hair details sharp and clearly visible? Do the edges of the lettering look crisp and untouched? If the coin looks worn, scratched, or dull, it's probably worth face value. But if it looks unusually sharp, brilliant, and almost flawless, that's when things start to get exciting. And here's where many people make a big mistake. They clean the coin. Never clean a rare coin. Even gentle cleaning can permanently damage the surface and destroy the natural luster collector's value. A clean coin can lose a huge portion of its potential value instantly. So, if you think you might have a special 2013 P. Roosevelt dime, the smartest move is simple. Handle it carefully, place it in a protective holder, and consider having it evaluated by a professional coin grading service. Now here's something that might surprise you. Modern coins like the 2013 Roosevelt dime are actually becoming a hot trend among collectors. For years, most attention was focused on ancient coins or early American coins from the 1800s. But recently, collectors have begun competing for modern coins in perfect condition, especially those that are extremely difficult to find at the highest grades. The reason is simple. Perfection is rare. Even with modern minting technology, tiny imperfections occur constantly. Bags of coins rub together. Transportation causes minor marks. Handling introduces small scratches. When a coin survives all of that in near-perfect form, it becomes a needle in a haystack, and collectors love needles in haystacks. Now imagine being the person who finds one dot picture opening an old coin roll or a forgotten drawer and spotting a dime that looks just a little different, a little shinier, a little sharper, a little more perfect than the rest. You might even laugh and say, "There's no way this tiny coin is valuable." But that's exactly how many legendary coin discoveries begin, with doubt, then curiosity, and finally excitement. But here's the part many people don't realize. The difference between a 10-cent coin and a $1 million coin often comes down to microscopic details. Things that only professional graders can truly confirm, but that's why authentication matters so much in the rare coin world. Once a coin is professionally graded and certified, collectors gain confidence in its authenticity and condition. That certification can transform an ordinary coin into a highly sought-after collectible. And when wealthy collectors begin competing for the best examples, prices can climb dramatically. The next time you receive change at the grocery store, the gas station, or a coffee shop, pause for a moment before tossing those coins aside. Take a closer look. Because hidden among the ordinary dimes could be a coin that collectors are willing to pay extraordinary money to own. Now you might be wondering, are there really coins worth millions still circulating today? The answer might surprise you. Yes. Rare mint errors, ultra-high grade coins, and overlooked modern issues continue to appear in the most unexpected places. And every year, collectors report new discoveries that once seemed impossible, which means the next incredible coin discovery could belong to anyone. Even you. Tonight, when you get home, try something simple. Open that jar of spare change. Look through the dimes carefully. Check the dates. Search for the 2013 P mint mark. You may find nothing. Or you might discover the coin that changes everything. Because sometimes, life-changing wealth doesn't come from winning the lottery or making a risky investment. Sometimes it comes from a tiny piece of metal hiding in plain sight, a 10-cent coin most people would never notice, but collectors would never ignore. And if you enjoyed uncovering the mystery behind the 2013 P Roosevelt dime, stay tuned, because there are several other modern coins hiding in circulation right now that could be worth thousands, even millions, and one of them might already be in your pocket. Yes, you heard that right, a tiny silver-colored coin, the kind most people barely glance at, might actually be one of the rarest modern dimes ever discovered. And if that coin happens to be sitting quietly in your pocket change, a forgotten jar, or an old drawer in your house, it could completely change your financial future. Today we're talking about the 2017 D Roosevelt dime. At first glance, it looks ordinary. It's small, common, and produced in huge numbers. Millions of them were struck at the Denver Mint. But hidden among those millions are a few extremely rare examples that collectors and auction houses have been hunting for, and one extraordinary specimen shocked the coin collecting world with a staggering valuation of $1.8 million. Now the question becomes incredibly simple and incredibly exciting. Could one of these rare dimes be hiding in your change right now? Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly what to look for and why this seemingly ordinary coin has become one of the most talked about modern rarities in American numismatics. Now let's begin with the story behind the coin itself. The Roosevelt dime has been part of everyday American life since 1946. It was introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death, and it quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in circulation. Generations of Americans have carried Roosevelt dimes in their pockets without ever thinking twice about them. Fast forward to 2017, that year, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of dimes for circulation. Among them were coins struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small letter D, located just to the right of the date on the obverse side. Most people, these coins are simply everyday change worth 10 cents. But coin collectors know something important. Sometimes, during the minting process, something unusual happens that a dime may develop a flaw. A striking error may occur. A microscopic detail may appear that wasn't intended. And when that happens on a modern coin with millions produced, It can create a rarity that collectors will fight over for decades. That's exactly what happened with a small number of 2017 D Roosevelt dimes. Some of these coins show extremely rare characteristics that separate them dramatically from normal examples. Experts believe that a small group of coins were struck using a defective or altered die, creating unusual design details and exceptional strike characteristics that collectors instantly recognized as extraordinary. But here's where the story gets fascinating. The T first. Nobody noticed. These dimes entered circulation just like any other coin. They passed through banks, cash registers, vending machines, and pockets across the country. For months, maybe even years, they moved quietly through the economy, completely unnoticed, until one sharp-eyed collector made an incredible discovery. Imagine sitting at a table, sorting through pocket change. Maybe you've done it yourself. Most of the time, it's boring. You see the same coins again and again. Nothing special, but then something catches your eye. The strike looks unusually sharp. The details on Roosevelt's profile seem stronger than normal. The surfaces appear flawless, almost mirror-like. You take a closer look, you check the mint mark, and suddenly, your heart starts beating faster, because the coin in your hand might not be an ordinary dime at all. That moment of discovery is exactly what fuels the world of coin collecting. The idea that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places keeps collectors searching through rolls of coins, bank boxes, and jars of change every single day. Now you might be wondering something important. How can a 10-cent coin possibly reach a value of $1.8 million? The answer comes down to three powerful factors that drive the rare coin market: rarity, condition, and demand. First is rarity. Even though millions of 2017 dimes were minted, only a tiny number show. The rare features collectors are looking for. When something exists in extremely limited quantity, its value can skyrocket almost overnight. Second is condition. In the coin world, condition is everything. A coin graded at the very top of the scale, nearly perfect, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of times more than an average circulated example. High-grade modern coins are surprisingly difficult to find because they often suffer scratches, nicks, and were almost immediately after entering circulation. And third is demand. Serious collectors are always searching for unique modern rarities. When a coin combines modern history, minting mystery, and extremely limited availability, the competition to own it becomes intense. Now here's a question that might surprise you. What if the rare dime isn't hidden in some vault, or a museum, or a wealthy collector's safe? What if it's sitting right now inside a simple coin jar somewhere in America? It sounds unbelievable, but it has happened many times before. Valuable coins have been discovered in grocery store change, parking meters, old piggy, banks, and inherited collections that sat untouched for decades. Sometimes people unknowingly spend coins worth thousands or even millions simply because they never took a moment to look closely at. Yes, oh, how can you tell if your 2017 D Roosevelt dime might be one of the valuable ones? Start by checking the mint mark. Look for the small D next to the date. Next, examine the coin carefully under bright light or magnification. Collectors search for unusual strike details, crisp design features, and surfaces that appear exceptionally clean or reflective. Rare die characteristics can also appear in lettering, Roosevelt's portrait, or the torch design on the reverse. And here's an important tip: if a coin looks different from the rest, don't ignore that feeling. Sometimes the most valuable discoveries begin with a simple thought. Wait, this one looks strange. Of course, not every 2017 D dime will be worth a fortune. Most are still worth exactly 10 cents. But the possibility that a rare example could be hiding in plain sight is what keeps collectors searching every day. And let's be honest for a moment. When was the last time you actually looked closely at the coins in your pocket? Most people don't. We spend them without thinking. We drop them into jars and forget about them. But somewhere in that everyday change could be a tiny piece of metal capable of transforming someone's financial future overnight. Imagine finding a coin that pays off your house or funds your retirement or gives you the freedom to travel the world, all from something that once bought a stick of gum. Now, before you rush off to check every coin in your house, there's one more twist to this story. Experts believe that several rare 2017 D Roosevelt dimes are still missing. That means they could still be circulating, passing quietly from hand to hand, waiting for someone with a sharp eye and a little curiosity. Maybe a collector will find the next one in a bankroll tomorrow. Maybe a cashier will notice it in a register next week. Or maybe, just maybe, the next discovery is already sitting somewhere in your home right now. So tonight, take a few minutes. Open that jar of coins. Check your pockets. Look through those forgotten rolls from a bank. Because hidden among those ordinary dimes could be the coin collectors across America are still searching for. And if you happen to find a 2017 D Roosevelt dime that looks unusual, don't rush to spend it. Have it examined. Have it authenticated. Because what appears to be a simple 10-cent coin might actually be one of the most valuable modern discoveries in American coin collecting. A discovery that proves something fascinating about rare coins. Sometimes, the greatest treasures in the world are the ones people overlook every single day, and the next life-changing coin could be closer than you think. This for a moment. You're going through a jar of loose change on your kitchen table. Maybe coins you've ignored for years. Pennies, nickels, a few dimes scattered across the surface. Nothing special, right? But what if one of those tiny silver coins, a simple 2021 Roosevelt dime, could secretly be worth a life-changing amount of money? Not a few $100s, not even a few thousand. What if one rare version of that coin could be worth close to $1 million? It sounds impossible. After all, the 2021 dime is modern. Millions were made. Most people spend them without a second thought. Yet hidden among ordinary coins, collectors have discovered rare examples with unusual characteristics that have sparked enormous excitement in the coin collecting world. And here's the shocking part. Many of these coins may still be sitting in circulation today, in piggy banks, coin jars, and pocket change across America. Before you spend another dime. You may want to watch this video until the very end. Because today we're diving deep into the mysterious and incredibly valuable 2021 P. Roosevelt dime, and why some collectors believe the right one could command prices approaching $1 million. But first, let's step back for a moment. The Roosevelt dime has been part of American life since 1946. It was introduced shortly after the death of President Franklin Roosevelt, honoring his legacy and his leadership during one of the most challenging periods in U.S. history. Since then, billions upon billions of these dimes have been produced by the United States Mint. Most are worth exactly what you expect, 0.10 cents. But coin history has taught collectors one very important lesson. Sometimes the most valuable coins are not the oldest ones, they're the ones that were never supposed to exist. And that brings us to 2021. That year, the Philadelphia Mint produced a massive number of Roosevelt dimes marked with the small p mint mark. On the surface, these coins look completely normal. Same portrait, same torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. Same shiny metallic appearance. Yet a handful of examples have caught the attention of professional numismatists. Why? Because certain 2021 P dimes appear to show striking anomalies and extremely rare mint characteristics that should not appear on modern coins produced with today's advanced technology. Now here's where things start getting interesting. Some collectors have reported examples showing unusual strike quality, strange die characteristics, and subtle variations in the design details. In high-grade conditions, coins graded at the very top of the scale, the rarity becomes extreme. Think about it like this. Millions of coins might be minted, but only a tiny handful might survive in perfect, untouched condition. We're talking about coins that look exactly the same as the moment they left the mint. No scratches. No wear. No circulation damage. And when collectors compete for the very finest known examples of a modern coin, prices can skyrocket in ways that surprise even experienced numismatists. But wait, it gets even more fascinating. Because some of the most valuable modern coins weren't discovered immediately. They were hiding in plain sight for years. That a coin collector might pull a seemingly ordinary dime from a bankroll, send it to a professional grading service, and suddenly discover that it's one of the finest known examples in existence. And when that happens, the market reacts fast. Now imagine this scenario that you're searching through pocket change at home. You spot a shiny 2021 dime with the small P mint mark. It looks clean, maybe even flawless. At first glance, it's just another coin. But what if it isn't? What if that coin has a rare die variation or extraordinary strike quality that places it among the top few examples known? Suddenly, that tiny piece of metal might attract the attention of collectors, investors, and auction houses around the country. And this is where the story takes an unexpected turn in recent years. The coin collecting market has exploded with renewed interest. Online auctions, collector forums, and professional grading services have created an environment where rare coins can achieve astonishing values. We've seen modern coins younger than many people watching this video, sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Sometimes even more. So when rumors begin circulating about rare high-grade examples of modern coins, the excitement builds quickly. Now let's talk about what makes certain 2021 P. Roosevelt dimes potentially valuable. First is condition. Professional grading companies evaluate coins using a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS 70 is considered absolutely perfect under magnification. And here's the catch. Modern coins rarely achieve this grade in large numbers. Even with advanced minting technology, tiny imperfections can occur during production or handling that if a coin manages to survive in near-perfect condition, say MS 68, MS 69, or higher, it can instantly become a rarity. Second is strike quality. Some coins display unusually sharp details. The torch lines on the reverse might appear incredibly crisp. Roosevelt's hair details might be more defined than normal. Collectors notice these things immediately. And third, errors. Now here's where things get really exciting. Throughout American coin history, mint errors have created some of the most valuable collectibles ever discovered. Off-center strikes, doublets, wrong planchets. Sometimes these mistakes slip through even the most advanced quality control systems. When they do, they become legendary among collectors. Imagine discovering a modern dime with an unusual striking error that only a handful of people have ever seen. That's the kind of discovery that can transform a 10-cent coin into a national headline. But here's a quick reality check, and this part is important. Not every 2021 P dime is valuable. In fact, the vast majority are worth exactly 10 cents. If you're staring at your pocket change right now thinking you've already retired, you might want to hold that thought. But don't lose hope either, because history has shown that rare coins often appear where people least expect them. In inherited coin collections. In forgotten drawers, even in everyday change from the grocery store. And that brings us to the moment every collector dreams about, the discovery. Picture someone sorting through rolls of coins from a bank. One coin stands out. The surface looks flawless. The strike is razor sharp. Something feels different. They send the coin to be graded. Weeks later, the results arrive. The grade is exceptionally high, among the finest examples known. Suddenly, collectors begin paying attention. Auction houses take interest. Bidding begins, and the value climbs higher and higher. Stories like this have happened before in the coin world, and they continue to happen today, which raises an intriguing question. How many rare modern coins are still out there waiting to be discovered? No one truly knows, but one thing is certain. Every valuable coin discovery begins the same way. Someone decides to take a closer look. If you happen to come across a 2021 Roosevelt dime with a P mint mark, pause before spending it. Examine it carefully. Look at the details under good lighting. Does it appear unusually sharp? Is the surface extremely clean? Does anything about the coin look different or unusual? If the answer is yes, it might be worth having that coin examined by a professional grading service. Because sometimes the smallest coin can carry the biggest surprise. And who knows? The next extraordinary discovery in the coin collecting world might not come from a museum or a major auction house. Might come from a simple jar of loose change sitting on someone's kitchen counter. Maybe even yours. The next time you receive a dime and change, take a second look. Because hidden among ordinary coins, there may be a rare piece of history quietly waiting to be found.